Very well, to our next story, we cross over to Uhuru Gardens. That is the venue of the 25th edition of the East Africa Trade Fair that has been going on since morning, and we have been keeping our eyes peeled for that. Regina Manyara, my colleague, has been keeping tabs with a number of PSs, including the PS for MSME, the PS for the trade and investment, and also the PS in charge of East Africa Community. Let's first of all get that engagement. Good afternoon, Regina. Kindly bring us up to speed with what is happening at the trade fair.
Good afternoon to you, Ben Troy. As you said, we have been keeping tabs on this week-long exhibition that is not only bringing close together traders across the East African community, but we have also expanded it to various African states in bid to just take advantage of the already laid down protocols looking at the African Continental Free Trade Area, the EAC in as far as a trading bloc, and to just put on the map, you know, MSMEs who have been said to be drivers of the economies across these particular blocks. But the question is, what has been hindering MSMEs from fully taking, their role, or rather their place when it comes to social economic development? And this particular exhibition is going to be launched not too long by His Excellency President William Ruto, who is the chief guest. But before long, let's hear from the drivers of this particular exhibition. That is the 25th EAC MSME exhibition being held right here in Kenya. Now, I'm going to introduce PS Susan Mangeni, who's in charge of MSME development, basically our host for this 1 week, to just bring us up to speed from yesterday. What are the key highlights that you have noted, and what are the areas that, those who are exhibiting want more prioritized, or rather prioritized?
Thank you so much, and first of all, let me appreciate for giving me this opportunity, and also for coming here so that you can get to interact with our MSMEs who have turned out in big number. So first of all, let me say that we are hosting over 3,000 MSMEs drawn from across the 8 member states of East African Community. We are celebrating 25 years of integration, which also comes along with these very important activities that creates a marketplace where MSMEs from across the region can congregate and share with each other, showcase their innovative value chain, while also gaining from knowledge and experience from their counterparts across the member state. So, but let me say, this time round, Kenya is hosting for the 7th time. The last time we hosted was in 2018, and it was in Eldoret County, but we've seen much improvement. In fact, this is the most improved trade fair ever since it was founded in 1999 as a side event during the historical signing of the treaty that established the East Africa Community. So this time round, we decided to flavor this event with a high-level strategic conversation, looking at some of the issues that continue hindering our MSMEs from growing, and seeing how well can we unlock them. Yesterday was Kenyans Day, and we jointly hosted the day with the International Trade Center, who are coming to open up the regional hub for Africa again in Nairobi, Kenya. Providing another enhanced opportunities for our MSMEs to knock at the global market. So then we were also privileged to have the participation of the Secretary General of AfCFTA, His Excellency Wamukele Mene, to share opportunities under the AfCFTA framework, so that now we can take this market from just East Africa. We start looking on how to also gain entry into the emerging frontiers in Africa, as well as the global trade. So some of the challenges that yesterday were being talked about, and we had key actors, policymakers, my colleagues here were also in the panel, and we had experts also, were number one, how do we unlock access to financing? Because this has been one of the major challenges. Yes, my colleague here, and he will be also sharing with you, she's really knocking on the doors on the global market every day and night. But it's one thing to sign those pacts, it's another thing now to maximize on those. But then MSMEs are saying they are getting difficulties in accessing trade financing. So those were some of the conversation that we're looking into yesterday, and seeing how easy can we make these MSME access financing so that they can take up these opportunities. The other challenge that came out yesterday, and which has been common, is that we are fast in terms of technology. We are really globalizing, so we're growing in terms of technology. However, MSMEs, most of them are still are still struggling to catch up. So the need for accelerating digital transformation among MSME came up, because the world now is a global village. You can call it a global market. You want to sell your product, you want your product to reach every part of this world, but then you need to be technologically savvy. You need you need to be able to access affordable digital devices. Then, of course, the whole challenges around the climate change and the call on moving towards green economy. Again, adaptation to that end is also a major challenge on our MSMEs. So again, those were some of the conversation. And we brought that high-level conversation because we need the outcome of that conversation now to be cascaded to the Heads of State Summit, so that then we can now start coming up with concrete solution of addressing and creating an enabling environment to support the growth of MSMEs.
Right.
Not just in Kenya, but in the entire region.
That is good. That is from the MSME point of view. You're in charge of MSME development and basically our host. Now let's hear, when it comes to matters of trade, there's a question that was raised among those who are taking to the podium, and it's the issue of harmonization of policies when it comes to standards. Your take on that? Madam Pierce.
Thank you very much. My namesake, Regina, and I just want to say that this event is actually a major one to us. I have walked through the exhibition booths and seen the level of talent and the level of creativity that is in the continent, particularly in the East African region. And the first question I asked myself, how are these exhibitors protected in terms of whatever they are doing? How are we ensuring that it is patented? At the same time, I asked myself a very pertinent question, that who is really helping them grow in terms of really picking up that talent and then scaling it up for purposes of it to be competitive in the big global market. And that's where, it comes in when the question of standards came into being. And it took me also with a lot of concern that this could actually be a barrier to the free trade that we want to make sure that this group of people experience and benefit from. Because if we start ensuring that standards are not harmonized, and for that one product that is produced in DRC, if it is good to go through Uganda, it has to be checked after the standards in DRC have been approved, then it gets to Kenya, it has to be checked again. You can imagine all those blocks that happen to somebody who's young, upcoming, and would really like to see things moving.
That has been Regina Manyara there, my colleague, engaging the PSs, especially those who have been able to attend